It's the intel about the next generation of Bulldogs. This is Before the Hedges, brought to you by Kroger.
Let's go, I'm a Bulldog.
Hello, DawgNation. Welcome in. I'm Kaylee Mansell with DawgNation recruiting insider Jeff Sentell. And of course, when it's a game as big as Georgia and Alabama, it's going to bring all the stars out. We saw the usual suspects, Quavo, Luke Bryan, tons of former players. Also a weird appearance from James Franco. We're not going to get into that. But I did think one of the cooler pregame moments was getting to see the 2026 quarterback commit Jared Curtis cut it up with Luke Bryan. I guess that's one of the perks of being a five-star quarterback.
Jared told me this week that was the first time they met. Like, Luke Bryan knew who Jared Curtis was, so that already tells you something about what level he follows Georgia football and Georgia recruiting. I think it's odd, though, Kaylee, that he lives in Nashville. Jared Curtis does. And I'm sure Luke Bryan has a residence somewhere, or at least a condo in Nashville. And they go to Athens, Georgia, and that's where they meet for the first time. Luke Bryan was tailgating, Kaylee. Stop me if you heard this one before. Tailgating on his tour bus. And he texts Jared, and he's like, hey, why don't you come on over? This is a crazy story. But then after that, the young man next to him right there on the sidelines is his younger son, Bo Bryan. Mm-hmm. Those two guys were boys. They actually watched the game together in the front row of Sanford Stadium. Bo Bryan was not only hanging with Jared Curtis, but then Bo's best friend, Justice Pittman, who sort of kind of looked like a prospect in his own right. He does play football. He does have some G5 offers, but sitting there on the sidelines, you had some Georgia ways right there. And Kelly, we wrote about it this week, and I think, I'm not going to promise it, but the odds of Jared Curtis appearing in a future Luke Bryan song, they went up.
Well, even though this was their first time meeting, which is crazy to think about them living in the same city, I imagine this is probably not going to be the last time that these two paths cross.
You would think, what is it? Can you imagine a song with like number 2? Because Jared's going to wear number 2 in Athens. That's already figured out. Can you imagine Luke Bryan? You know how he had this Chipper Game Day 1999 fit line in Georgia Ways? Can you imagine how cool that would be if it's like, heck, man, probably inspired by Saturday. Number 2 leading the Dogs by Bama, something like that. Finally got number 2. I think that's pretty cool. Maybe number 2 gives them their second win against Alabama, something like that. I'm not a songwriter. I'm a reporter.
All right, so of course that's from the Georgia-Alabama game. We have a lot to unpack about that on today's show, specifically if the loss to Alabama affects recruiting at all, just because there were so many visitors, committed and non-committed. So how does that alter the perception of Georgia in their mind? And one of the guys that did visit, we'll hear directly from him. That's the 5-star edge, DJ Jacobs, also a legacy. So we'll get the chance to hear his reaction to the game. And then newest commit for the class of 2027, the 4-star offensive tackle, Kelsey Adams. We're going to hear more from him on why he made the decision to choose the Dogs, why he did it so early. So kind of rounding it out with some good news. We'll follow it up with the best highlights from the class of 2026 and then the long-awaited Dawg of the month. It's not just the week. It's the best performance this month. I have a feeling that this one is going to surprise you just as much as it did me when Jeff Sentell gave me the news. So really excited to get to our very first Dawg of the month of the season, but I think it's important to address the one question that everybody probably has when it comes to recruiting, and that's just the fact that there were so many guys in high school that visited the Georgia-Alabama game. Georgia did not come out on the right side of that, so I think it's fair to question if the loss has any impact on the way that these young guys view the University of Georgia and its football program.
I think, Kaylee, there's 2 ways to cover this. I think the way we're going to do it, first of all, I can give you the Cliff Notes. Everybody loved the atmosphere. They loved the energy. They thought it was very loud. Most of the commits told me, I've got the quotes, best game they've ever been to. Targets said the same thing. That's not just because they got to take pictures with A.J. Green and Ant-Man and, as you mentioned, James Franco from Hollywood and the like. They loved it. They loved the atmosphere. They loved the lights. They loved the red band. Some people were a little tired of that noise that activated.
Oh, my God. It was awful.
The one that activated, like, it was kind of like the bells of, like, Hell's Bells maybe or something like that. But, like, or something that would happen before an execution. But they were a little winded with all that. But, like, they loved it. They're going to love it. Everybody loves, since Kirby Smart has been in Athens, everybody loves a visit. especially for a big game like that, especially when they can look around and see all their peers. Here's a fun fact. The number one quarterback in the country for 2026 was there, Jared Curtis. The number one player in the country for 2027 was there. The number one player for 2028 was there. And that's almost to stop the press. You look around, everyone was starstruck, and that's something to take away. We decided the better way to look at this would be like, all right, does another, let's drum it up, another loss to Alabama, does that change the way these recruits look at Georgia? Does it change the way these targets look at Georgia? And we were able to kind of rally some opinion together, some opinions about what most recruits and most of the targets would actually say the same things as we're going to showcase here.
Yeah, and I got to give Jeff some credit. He's a generally optimistic guy about these things, but he did bring the evidence to back up his claim here. So we're going to take a look at some quotes from guys that are currently committed within the 2026 class, just their overall reactions to the game, and does it change their perception? The first one that we'll go to, it's the 4-star linebacker commit and Nick Abrams. Nick Abrams said, "It definitely makes me eager to come in and beat those guys, especially them being in my top 4. I have a list of schools I can't wait to beat. It would mean a lot being able to beat those guys. It's been too long." Again, that's the 4-star linebacker commit Nick Abrams. I mean, that's certainly one way to look at it. Maybe it only increases the motivation to be able to come in and finally be a part of the team that's able to get the win against Alabama. And if he stays committed, then he'll get the opportunity to do it next year as well as in 2028.
I think the big thing here, Kaylee, is you're going to find out there's a range of emotion. First of all, this is something to think about. Kaylee, you might know this. No recruit knows about 1 and 6. Nobody was watching. None of these guys were watching football in 2017 to 2018. They've got a memory span of about 3 or 4 years where they sit there and they go, oh yeah, Georgia's not winning a lot of those. Of course, it gets beaten over their head right now. But you have an opinion on that.
I don't buy that. And it's not because they're young and they don't care, they didn't get to watch it. Like, I feel like they know, because anytime that Georgia and Alabama play each other, if these guys just look on social media, it's probably going to be right there. Now, do they care about it? That's a different story, but you can't convince me that they don't know.
I don't think, Kaylee, this is what I learned, and this is kind of shocking to me. A lot of these kids don't watch football unless they're playing in it. That's something where they're not glued to it with popcorn and some nachos if they're not there. And the other thing that's kind of big is they all say, man, they're just two great teams. And, you know, by and large, we're not trying to carry anybody's water for anybody, but most of these games have been very close one-score games. And most recruits, I've got my whole threads and my text messages full of them. They basically say they want to play in a game like that one day. Mm-hmm. That's what they want to be a part. That's what they want their college career to look like.
I think that that's definitely applicable to the next guy that we're going to take a look at his quote, and that's Carter Lucky, who I definitely know knows the history of Georgia and Alabama as a legacy. This is what he had to say. "It's as real as rivalries get. No matter where the game is played, both teams come out and play their hearts out. No matter how a season goes for either UGA or Alabama, the game between the two is always going to be great." So we're looking at it from the perspective that Carter Lucky gives us of just going to the University of Georgia, being able to play in these big games. That's what makes going to Georgia appealing, is knowing that you're going to be in the spotlight, going against the toughest competition. So his isn't really the motivation factor like we heard from Nick Abrams, but I think that Carter Lucky understands the decision to go to Georgia means that you get the opportunity to play in games as big as the one that we saw Saturday.
Kaylee, you're absolutely correct there. Carter Lucky knows what happens in 2018. His dad knows, his mom knows, his older brother Lawson Lucky knows. I mean, that was a very political answer from Carter, but I could just bet Carter really wants to knock Alabama in the dirt when he's a dog one day.
So we heard the perspective from Nick Abrams. We heard the perspective from Carter Lucky. I feel like the next one that we're going to take a look at, which is the 4-star wide receiver, Ryan Mosley, his ties both of those ideals together. This is what Ryan Mosley had to say. "When I think of Georgia versus Bama, I think of an intense physical 4-quarter game. Yes, watching it makes me eager because I know I'll be playing in this game next year and able to help the team and come out with a win." So really just ties the two ideologies together, being able to play in such a physical 4-quarter game and also just knowing that he has an opportunity to be on the team that turns that narrative around.
Recruited by both schools, Kaylee, being where Carrollton is geographically, right on the state line, a little bit close to the border. He knows that there's a lot of Alabama fans around Carrollton. not too far to the state line. So that's a guy that I thought was really good to talk to, because also he was recruited hard by both, but he is an absolute dog. If you guys remember from our coverage of Ryan Mosley's recruitment, he was wearing like a 34 red Bulldog jersey when he was like 8 years old, 6 years old, something like that. Again, that's a question that's not easy to handle, because you could have just said, man, I hate Alabama or blah, 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 blah. Somehow these recruits are able to say the right thing or say a very well-respected thing without the levels of media training that are necessary once they reach college.
So those are all the things that we got to directly hear. This next thing that we're going to talk about is more so context clues, reading of body language. We mentioned the 5-star quarterback commit, Jared Curtis, off the top of the show. We were able to get some video footage of Jared Curtis towards the end of the game with that locked in look on his face. You can obviously tell he's probably not too happy with what's happening, but I don't think it's a matter of being upset with, oh my gosh, Georgia couldn't do it, but oh my goodness, I want to be the one that turns this around for the program.
So one of those things, the game's over, you're trying to take a picture of everybody, and I whirled around, and I noticed Jared, and the look on his face there, guys, is more like mad. More like ticked off. Can I say ticked off on the family program Before the Hedges? More like maybe pissed off, I think is the way to say that, Kaylee. But what we bring this to the table for on Before the Hedges is basically there's a level of investment already. There's a level of he's going to be a dog. He's already a part of this program. And then one of the comments he had for me after that loss was he's like, man, I can't wait to get there and get on that field and play with those guys.
Have you know what it kind of reminded me of? Have you ever seen Baker Mayfield when there may be one score down, or he knows that they're getting towards the end and he's just got that look on his face of I'm about to lock the you-know-what in.
Wow. There we go.
That's what that energy was giving me before you know that Baker's about to have 100 passing yards in the span of 5 minutes.
Yeah, Jared is a guy we've said so many times, he's as advertised. He's a guy that he's also going to be back in Athens again this week for the Kentucky game with a lot of the commitments, but really feels kind of emotionally invested in Georgia already. That's what you want to see. Of course, he had a front row seat. He brought his family with him. I also must report, and I'm just reporting for all the mamas out there, that Jared's father had a hat that says "Them Dogs is Hell," wearing that. So it's nice to see that family's really bought in on Georgia. Aside from the mother, Barbara Curtis, who loves Georgia as long as the day is long.
All right, so 2 more things on this, and then we'll hear from the 5-star edge, DJ Jacobs, on his experience with the game. Having this game at home is a really big deal. It feels like it hasn't been that often in Athens that you get these really, really big night games, because Georgia is everyone's big game. They go on the road and they take part in night games, but it's not really been the other way around. How do you think that the guys that visited this game would have rated the atmosphere from Sanford?
Heard so many guys say it's the best one ever, the best all time. They love the lights. They love the red light show. I had so many people tell me that the red light show was amazing, but I don't know if it was that much different.
Okay.
Besides the white and the red, right?
Hold on a second. We haven't touched on this.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter traditions could not be properly executed because they were reviewing the play from the end of the third quarter. So it was only a small glimpse of what you would typically get. And I talked about this with our producer behind the scenes, that when that happened and they really didn't get to do the fourth quarter tradition, that's when I started to become a little bit worried about how the game was going to play out, because I'm like, this is such a big part of that momentum going into the fourth quarter. They couldn't really do it how they usually did. I was like, I hope this isn't foreshadowing the way that this fourth quarter is going to play out, but they really didn't get to do the entire light show because of that play that they were reviewing at the end of the third.
Well, let's face it, what's the thing that the Georgia people rally around is that Georgia owns the fourth quarter at Sanford, and I don't think they got the bounce or the juice off of it because you didn't really get a lot of you did see fireworks because it was smoky for about for about 4 minutes after that explosion. But I don't really feel like you had the stadium. You didn't see the players jumping up and down like it was meant to be. And I don't know if the white lights and the red lights really. Listen, I like it. I hope it continues to be a Georgia tradition. We'll see if that does become a Georgia tradition. I guess the LED wristbands will need to be sponsored, or people will need to bring theirs back, which will never happen. But it was one of those things where I think the fans really showed up for that one.
So I don't typically like to end our big segments on something negative, but I'm hoping that you can take this negative and turn it into a positive. I mean, we've talked about the committed guys, but there was a lot of guys that weren't committed that were making really important decisions within this game. Do you think that the outcome was enough to turn anyone away?
No, it's funny. Lots of stories that are popping up, and we'll get to some of them when we get to the kind of the commitments and the targets. But there's an example here. There's a young man from California, Kaylee. His Tavian Epps is his name, and he's committed to Texas. Odd. He's a 2027. He was at Georgia. There were a lot of committed recruits, 2027 and 2020, some 2026s at Georgia. But he came out of that visit thinking, man, something different about Georgia. They're way up on my top now. And talk about an eye-opening experience. Because, Kaylee, here's the secret sauce in this. Kirby Smart wants to play in big games, get big games at home, and get those guys that are like, oh, let me travel for Alabama, Georgia at night. And then otherwise, they decided to be there rather than like Penn State, Oregon, right? And that was a national game with some national reputations on the line. There's a young man from Florida. His father was an all-SEC player at Florida. His name is Santana Harvey. Coming out of that visit to Georgia, Georgia is his leader now. Georgia is his dream school. Like, I'm sure Brandon Adams would raise a glass to that little vignette right there. But there's a lot of stories like that. There's a young man from Mississippi by the name of DJ Dotson that hung around all the commits. And one thing Georgia did differently, and I'm told this was an idea executed by David Cooper, is Coach Coop, everybody knows him on social media, right? He gathered up all the commits and the major targets, and he said, follow me. And they went down from the recruiting lounge. They stopped eating, stopped watching, stopped drinking. And they went drinking, soda or whatever. And they go down through the locker room. They get to see the team kind of getting ready. And then they come out in the field. And they're out on the field early, like maybe 30 minutes before the rest of the recruits normally come down, basically like right after the dog walk. And you saw really distinctly, there were some guys that were undecided that were down there. DJ Jacobs was one of those. Mr. Dotson was one of those. Jaden Wade, the five-star quarterback, the number one quarterback in the country, who I saw on Friday night, and he was amazing. Says he loves Georgia. We'll have stories on that this week on DawgNation.com as well. But that was a way for Georgia to show the ones that they really, really liked and they really, really wanted a little something extra. A little bit away. Like Brandon always says, you got to dangle the keys in front of the baby to get the baby's attention. And that's one of the things Georgia did, is they showed them a little bit more love kind of in a different way. And we've got to just share this right now, Kaylee. Kamari Brooks, you know how much he loves Georgia. He chose Georgia over Alabama, right? You know who was basically his wingman down there on the field the whole time? Kamari Brooks' wingman was DJ Jacobs. And DawgNation, all I'm saying is the more that DJ Jacobs can hang around Kamari Brooks, the better that recruitment will go.
Well, yeah, as you mentioned last week, the most important visitor, not just for the class of 2027, but for everyone that was there, was DJ Jacobs. So in a moment, we're going to get the chance to hear from him, his reaction to everything, how he felt about the visit. But first, want to give a quick shout out to Kroger. And listen, one of my favorite parts about this apartment that I've been living in over the last several months has been the fact that I have a Kroger right next to me. So you can imagine how sad I was last Wednesday after I leave the show. I go to the grocery store and I found out that the Kroger next to my house is closing.
Oh, no.
But it's okay, because then after I had my initial sadness, I remembered that I am a Kroger Boost member. So now whenever they relocate to wherever they're going next, I can just have my groceries delivered. So that's the convenience of having Kroger Boost, even if you don't have one that's right next to you like I used to. You can order your groceries. They make it so simple, so easy. Even if they don't have the thing that you're looking for, they'll provide alternatives and have those delivered right to your house. Also get fuel points with that, and just the overall convenience of adding time back into your daily schedule. So even though I'm sad to see it go, it is nice to know that I have the option of just getting them delivered right to my doorstep. So to find out more, make sure to visit Kroger.com/boost. Again, that's Kroger.com/boost. So now it's time to hear from the 5-star edge, DJ Jacobs, who is now the number one player in the class of 2027. Before we get to hear from him himself, just a few questions I want to ask. I know it's still really early in the DJ Jacobs recruitment process, but as far as you know at this point in time, like, how much is Georgia a real contender in all of this? I mean, does he even know who his top schools are at this point just because it is so early?
He's very coy about what to do here, Kaylee, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you can follow the patterns of his visit. He's seen Miami twice. He's seen Georgia once. He'll be back to Georgia for the Texas game. He's going to Texas A&M for the Florida game later this couple weeks, I believe. He's also been to Oregon already. I think that's a pretty good sketch work of who he's looking at, who he's considering. I think location will matter to some extent. I think there's also some things we'll learn in this interview as well about kind of neat little wrinkles in his recruiting. But you see right there, that's Mom with the Georgia earrings. Nobody needed to give her those Georgia earrings or share. His mother and David there are both Georgia graduates as well. So this was another chance for Georgia to show DJ the best of Georgia and make it kind of feel like home, because DJ always tells me that he grew up going to Georgia. That's really important. And like I said, great player. He just got elevated to the number 1 player in the country for 2027. That's quite a feat, 6'5", 230. Been injured. I missed last week against Savannah Christian in Statesboro. Played the 2 weeks prior to that, really hurt. And Kaylee, the more we just keep chopping it up, this really looks like the most important target for Georgia. Now, we know it's going to come with a price tag, much like we were saying the same things about Tyler Atkinson a year ago when it comes to this recruitment. But I think this is one Georgia really wants to try to win. Obviously, we saw Kirby Smart at his game about 2 weeks ago at Blessed Trinity. That made an impact on him as well.
So one more thing before we hear from him, just because you briefly mentioned it, you said it was important that DJ Jacobs got to see Georgia, but what was it about the experience that you think was most important for him to see? Was it atmosphere? Was it just feeling the priority love? Was it getting to see how the coaches are on the sidelines? Like, what do you think was the priority thing that he needed to see out of this Georgia team?
I think it was the love that he showed from the coaching staff by getting to kind of go see the locker room. He'd never done that before. It was also, like, Kaylee, there's some really interested guys in his recruitment on the Georgia team. I know we just mentioned Kamari Brooks, who's not even there yet, but Ethan Barbour is his guy. And one of the things that you'll learn in this video is, like, I kind of asked him something, and he basically, kind of confirmed the official visit. Georgia will get one. I don't think that's any news breaking there, but Ethan Barbour is already the type of guy that's probably going to host him on that official visit. That's how tight they are. And I think another thing that's really important here is Georgia. It's kind of he knows these things, Kaylee. He knows Kamari Brooks was the only edge in the 2026 class. He likes that. He knows that Damian Guyton's probably not going to be at Georgia, obviously. Texas Tech, we all know that story by now. So there's a lot of reasons that are tugging to keep DJ Jacobs home, and I think it's going to be a fascinating recruitment to follow.
All right, I think that's enough from us. Let's go ahead and hear all from the 5-star edge, DJ Jacobs, on his most recent trip to Athens.
Bounce around a few things. What's it like when Kirby Smart comes to visit your school, visit your game?
Man, I appreciate it, man. Out of everyone in the whole United States, he came to see me and my brother and my team. So, I'm just very appreciative and couldn't ask for anything better,
Have you ever had a head coach come before one of your games before?
Yeah, I have. He No, he did come last year. My first one was Coach Norvell.
Coach Norvell
Yeah,
did?
he went, so he came to my first head coach ever go to my games.
When was that?
It was Milton game.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that showing love? That matters,
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's definitely showing love. Come to my game, yeah. What else can you do?
Yeah.
So, that was awesome. Both of them, Coach Uribe and Coach Smart, man, and little Andrew and his friend. So, yeah, it was awesome.
How was your game day experience on Saturday? You've been to Athens a lot of times, been to Georgia games a lot of time. Where does that one stack up?
It was great, man. The atmosphere was amazing, man. The field before the game was just awesome, man. Everyone was just, fans everywhere, Tailgate was awesome. Just hanging out with with everyone, it was just amazing. It was awesome. Just Georgia feel,
Did you like the light show in particular?
Oh, the light show was cool. What
was the best part?
That was cool. The light show. I really liked when they were playing the music and the lights with match the music and stuff like that. That was the really cool part. Also they played. What was that new thing they had? The
The armbands? The
No,
wristbands?
no. It was like a new sound.
Oh, that sound really activates the wristbands, I think.
Yeah, that was so loud. That was loud.
Miami. You went to Miami since the last time we spoke. Now,
Yep.
Is Georgia, I mean, Miami sounds like it's coming. What do you like about Miami, and how's Georgia kind of staying in there a little bit?
You know, Miami, man, it's awesome. It's going down there. I mean, they show me love, man. You know, just going down, seeing them play, you know, like that, just seeing them get after it is awesome. That's why, I mean, I went down there twice, man. I just wanted to see what they're about, you know. And, yeah, it's really nice down there. You know, it's hot all the time. I mean, it rains a lot. But, yeah, it's good. I mean, the coaches are great. I mean, I love the coaching staff. I mean, just good people down there, and that's why I went back. So, and also Georgia, I mean, they're, you know, they're still in it. You know why? I mean, everyone's, I mean, they got great people on their coaching staff and so all that. I mean, you know, so yeah.
Still feel like home? Does it feel like home in Athens? What does it feel like?
Athens? Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, going home with my dad and stuff like that. You know, like I mean, that was awesome. You know, they treated us amazing and stuff like that. I know everyone was locked in for the game. I mean, it sucks they lost. So I thought they had it, to be honest. You know, but it's all good, you know. I mean, yeah, I mean, Athens, man, is a great place, man. Yeah, obviously, I mean, I grew up there and, you know, just going back and stuff like that. So, yeah, I'm excited to get back for the Texas game. So, yeah.
Coming back for Texas?
Yeah.
Any other visits planned coming up down the pipe?
Yeah, so not this week because I have homecoming this week. And then next week I'll be going to Texas A&M for the Florida game.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's the one you've talked about all season. You talked about it before the season.
I love the atmosphere over there, man. I mean, oh, my goodness. 100, how many people is it?
110,000? 109,000?
I mean, could you imagine just playing and all of them yell? So loud. It's definitely the loudest stadium I've been to.
That's loudest?
Yeah. I mean, Tennessee's up there, but it's between them two. So, yeah.
Because they're hanging around Kamari.
Kamari? That's my dog.
Like that guy, you know, if he had to think about a guy that he wants to play with, that would probably be you, man, because there's only one edge in his class.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sure he's working on you already, right?
It's only him in this class, right?
Yeah.
It's just him.
Just him.
I mean, yeah, you know, we were kicking it, you know. He brought one of his boys, some of his boys up, and then, you know, like Justin Wise, he was on, like, recruiting trip, and, like, he's boys with my boy, Braylon Mustard. So they're both basketball boys. And, you know, they went out, and I brought them up there, and, you know, we just kicked it, you know. So it was good. I mean, yeah, I had a great time.
Sounds like he's going to probably be in your ear a lot, man. Maybe he might host you on your official or something like that.
Who, Kamari?
Yeah.
Boy, if he's not a goofball, you know, probably. But you know, me and Ethan are boys.
Oh, yeah. Barbour?
Yeah.
You've been to Georgia so many times. What can Georgia still show you?
Georgia?
Like, is there anything you go like, all right, a little bit more to add to your process here, a little bit more to add to your perspective on Georgia? Can they still open your eyes a little bit?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, anyone can surprise me more. You never know because, you know, you build new stuff, you know, like that.
Yeah.
I would definitely say, like, you know, if I went back to Georgia, I mean, honestly, they show me love. I mean, fans on the street are saying what's up to, like, me and my family and stuff like that. I mean, like, it's not more you can really ask for. I mean, you know, just, like, showing me love, like, you know, keeping in contact with me and stuff like that. I mean, that means a lot, too, you know.
I don't know if I've asked you. If you go to, like, one side of the country, Dawson's going to go with you, right? Are you guys going to play together? Or, I mean, can you see
Dawson's a dog. I mean, I'm probably going to end up where having to play where Dawson want to play at, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no. But Dawson, I mean, me and Dawson, we really want to play together. And, you know, we really want to play with a team that, like, treats us both equally, you know? So, I mean, we're definitely trying to play with each other, you know? And, yeah, that's definitely the goal. So, yeah. And also, our parents don't care where we go. If we go all the way to Hawaii, you know. I mean, I don't know about Hawaii. I think they'll care about that.
All right, man. DJ, man, I always appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you.
DJ Jacob speaking for all of DawgNation. It sucks.
Man of the people, right, Kaylee?
I was not expecting that at all. I just want to know, my final question to you about him is, what is it going to take for Georgia? Is it a certain dollar amount? Is it a guaranteed playing time? Is it just the benefit of having more time getting to know him and spending more time with him? What do you think the priority is for the number one player in the class of 2027?
Yeah, that's what everybody's thinking. I think some schools will be too far away. I think, Kaylee, the thing to think there is I think the boys will make the decision together. Like they're like, okay, you're cool here too, right, Dawson? Because they do want to play together. And I think, let's not act like this is Christmas or Disneyland here, Kaylee. It's going to take a lot of money to get DJ Jacobs, or he's going to have to walk away from a lot of money. The number that was reported for LaDamian Guyton, $900,000, I think he's heard those type of numbers. I think those numbers are swirling for him. So it's going to be a matter of, does Georgia get close to that? How close does Georgia need to get to it? I think this might take on, Kaylee, you remember how Kirby went after KJ? Kirby wasn't kind of scared of price tags or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he thought that guy was a good culture fit for his team. DJ's a really good culture fit for any team. He's a really good guy, and he's obviously got that draw-dropping NFL potential. He's got the bloodlines, Coach Rick's godson of all things. Never say never in the world of NIL, but I think Georgia is going to have a really strong shot with DJ Jacobs. And let me offer a little bit of rare perspective here, Kaylee. I think Georgia has a better shot to sign DJ Jacobs than I ever did with Tyler Atkinson.
Well, it also probably works in his favor that Georgia is not likely going to sign a quarterback in the class of 2027, which frees up a lot of that NIL money that you would typically use on a priority player. And they know that they need an edge in the class of 2027, only having Kamari Brooks committed within this class. Edges right now aren't getting it done. So it looks like if they want him bad enough, money will not be an issue.
I think the one thing people notice, and even the football people around DJ notice, is they are looking at the pass rush, Kaylee. Let's be obvious.
Yeah.
Let's not try to, act like this is all great when there's something significantly wrong here. I think a lot of people around the state are talking about is Georgia's plan to always get pressure with 4. Do they need the right guys to get pressure with 4? DJ Jacobs is one of those guys that I think can get pressure with 4. One of the things you learn about DJ a lot is I have opposing coaches and other coaches tell me that the young man thinks he can make every play, even with a play backside. He thinks he can run it down. He thinks he should run it down. And that's still very rare. It's definitely comes from his father's influence there.
And I think it's good anytime that we get to hear directly from the players. Today's a special show because it's a double DawgNation conversation episode of Before the Hedges. So here in just a moment, we're going to hear from Georgia's latest commit, an offensive tackle in the class of 2027. That's Kelsey Adams. We're going to do that in just a moment. But for now, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back in less than 2 minutes here on Before the Hedges.
Hey, DawgNation, it's Brandon Adams, the host of DawgNation Daily here at Cercheros. And when I'm ready to eat, I want to eat something that I feel like was made fresh for me. And that's what the friendly folks at Cercheros do each and every day. In fact, let me give you a little bit of a taste of what that looks like right now. So I'll do a flour tortilla with Southwest rice, black beans. May I have steak, please? Cheese, and some pico, and some corn. I would love that grilled, absolutely. Can't beat the taste of those fresh grilled toppings added on. Jalapenos, some guac. The guac is free add-on here at Cercheros. And then I'll do some Cercheros sauce too, please. Looks great. And this football season, I want you to think of Cercheros for your tailgate watching and game day party need. In fact, this year, DawgNation with Cercheros is going to give away the ultimate game day party. You go to the website, DawgNation.com/tailgate. You can register for your chance to win the ultimate game day party, courtesy of Cercheros.
So I know it probably doesn't feel like it if you're a Georgia fan, but there was some good news coming out of this weekend. Georgia was able to pick up a premium position player for class of 2027. That's 4-star offensive tackle Kelsey Adams. We see now that Georgia could never have too many offensive tackles. And it's really cool because not only is he a top 50 player for 2027, but also he's another guy coming out of the Langston Hughes program, which has already been super resourceful for the University of Georgia. We're going to hear from him in just a moment, but Jeff, I want to come to you. What stands out about his gameplay?
Kaylee, sometimes we give you guys the answers to the test before the test itself. What do I mean by that? I mean that when we did those way too early top targets for the class of 2027, where do you think Kelsey Adams was?
Number 5.
He was number 3.
Oh.
So one of the things DawgNation is they got the number 3 guy and what I feel is probably going to be the anchor tackle for their class. There's another guy also in the state of Georgia, Douglas County's Joshua Sam Appel, who was also there on Saturday, also was really blown away by what he saw from Georgia. Georgia's going to be a major contender in that one, as always. But, Kelsey is kind of interesting because there was a moment, and I guess I would call it Langston Hughes pride. It was after he commits, right? And the story, we'll have an interview with him that tells the story of his commitment. But after his commitment, right, he looks up at the Jumbotron when they're announcing the starting lineups. His offensive line coach is right there with him. And they announced 2 Langston Hughes boys as starters on the offensive line. And Kelsey told me, he's like, that just told me it was it was just the right thing because these are 2 guys that have played at Langston Hughes that he knew growing up, still knows very well, and they're starting in Athens. And that stuff helps, Kaylee.
All right, so with that, let's hear from Georgia's latest commit, the 4-star offensive tackle in the class of 2027, Kelsey Adams, on why he chose the Dogs.
My why is really just my family, because right now it's me and my mom. So it's just me and my mom in the household, and I got 3 other siblings, so that's really my why.
How old are you?
I'm 17.
Does anybody tell you look like you're 22 or something like that? You must get that all the time,
The
right?
oldest I got was like 30-something.
30-something. How long have you had the beard?
Since 7th grade.
7th grade? You had a beard in 7th grade?
Yes, sir.
There you go. Why now? Why Georgia? Like most guys your class are on top 12s right now. Why were you ready?
The reason I was ready is because they've been showing me love since 8th grade, and really, I know people up there, Donnie, Bo, Josh up there too. So once I get up there, I'm gonna have some guys that can tell me what to not do, what to work on, and really just comfort me. Not just comfort me, just like role models, really.
Guys that have been there show you the ropes, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you commit before the game, right before the game, or did you come in knowing that you were going to commit?
I committed before the game. Like once I got in the office with Coach Searles and Coach Kirby Smart, with my grandma on the side and my uncle, it was just that talk. It made me want to commit.
So the talk did, right?
Yes, sir.
So then you're in his office. Did you have an edit ready or something like that, or did you have to get it ready?
No, I got it ready.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So driving to Athens on Saturday.
Oh no! After when I commit, I text the guy, and he just made it up real quick.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was like, man, that was pretty fast. But driving up there, you had no idea that you were going to commit that day, right?
No, sir.
What made it? What struck you that made you think I got to be a Dawg?
Really, it's just I had a top 10, and it was just a lot. I brought my grandma. My grandma, that's true. She one of the people that commit. The reason why I commit, because she loved it up there. And if she loved it up there, and plus it's an hour and 30 minutes away from the house, so that too. And she really loved it, and my coach too, and my uncle.
Because you committed on the spot, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you remember? What they said, or were you just looking around and soaking it all up?
Really just soaking it all up. But one thing I can say is just it showed me real love. Like I feel like it's home, just because the way they talk to me and really communicate with me. That's based off my commitment. Communication, relationships, and how you gonna treat me off the field.
What do you like best about Georgia?
Really just how they treat the O-line, because every year they have an O-line that goes to the NFL.
Kelsey Adams, 6'6", 300 pounds, the highest rated commitment in Georgia's 2027 class. Appreciate you making some time, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so here's the thing about the commitment. It's a really big deal for Georgia to pick up a top 50 player. However, it is still really, really early. Is there any confirmation from him that he's done with the recruiting process?
Still going to enjoy it, Kaylee. Going to take his officials, going to see other schools. I think Georgia's in a good spot. Really, one of the things that sparked the commitment, Kaylee, was that he felt like, listen, he's been to other schools recently, Kaylee. The love wasn't the same as he got from Georgia. Georgia was like 90 minutes down the road, and then he knows he's got Dontrell Glover and Bo Hughley. Like if he's messing up, they're going to check him. If he needs to know some things, they're going to help him. So like he likes the fact that there are people around him that are going to have his best interests at heart, not just the coaching staff.
So Kelsey Adams, 2027 commitment. Now we're going to shift our attention to some 2026 commitments who showed out on the football field last Friday. This is Mansell's details. So later we're going to have our Dawg of the month. These are individual performances, and typically I think we save the best for last. This first one might be the best one. I can't wait to show it to you. This is the 4-star wide receiver commit, Craig Dandridge, with probably one of the best catches we have seen on this show all season long. One-handed catch against a 5-star safety, by the way.
Kaylee, there's some things called survivor leagues. Like I think Craig Dandridge is the one guy that we could say that is in every highlight. somehow he's going to find a way to make it in the highlights when he's on a bye week.
Yeah, finishes the night, 6 passes for 79 yards, 2 touchdowns. And again, let me repeat that. The safety that he is going up against in this video is 5-star safety Chance Gilbert in the class of 2027. So he looks like he might be a plug-and-play guy. That's Craig Dandridge. We'll continue it with another offensive player. This one's going to be the tight end, Braden Fogel, who's been getting it done on both sides of the ball. You see right there, quick go route, great timing, easy catch for Braden Fogel.
Fogel, big game, 2 touchdown catches, 2 interceptions. He was in Athens on Saturday for the first time all year, expected back this weekend as well. Fogel is having one of the more under-the-radar great seasons among the commits.
And he'll play tight end at Georgia, but he plays both sides of the ball in high school. We've also got a defensive highlight for him. You see him right there. He's going to see it. There's a hole in the middle. Boom, interception, runs it all the way back, 29-yard pick six, another score for Braden Fogel.
Yeah, guy really loves Georgia. He was very sincere. One of the guys I talked to, I was really struck by how honest he was about how thankful he is to be at Georgia. Remember, he told us that story about the red lights in the stadium, and he knew, hey, he had to play there, and how lucky he was to get a chance to play there. And Braden, basketball player first, Kaylee, going to be a tight end at Georgia. Those guys really do well.
We talked a lot about Kamari Brooks earlier. He's another guy in this class I think that is very plug and play. You see him right there on the outside, number 5, pushing that guy all the way back. I imagine if the refs didn't blow the whistle, he would have brought him all the way back into the end zone.
You're going to see a lot of really knockbacks when he's resetting the line of scrimmage. That's what you really want to see, Kaylee. And some of these rushes, he has 2 sacks on the night, also catches a touchdown. But look at him just powering guys back into the backfield, especially the quarterback when he has him in his sights.
You mentioned 2 sacks on the night. We'll show you one of those sacks here. Georgia could use a couple of those at this point in the season, but he just plays so hard. Every down, it looks like he's going 110%.
Can't wait, Kaylee. To me, the collision course matchup in Class 4A is Creekside versus North Oconee, man. Some of those, that's going to be an epic game.
All right, so now we'll go ahead and take a look at the linebacker commit. Nick Abrams II had 7 tackles, 2 sacks. We'll show you the first one here on the screen. It's another guy like Kamari Brooks where it feels like every single play just kicks it into a whole nother gear, gets off multiple defenders off of him, reaches quarterback.
So one thing we hadn't seen in his game, Kaylee, he's got 2 pick sixes this year, but we hadn't seen the pass rushing yet. He'd been a coverage linebacker and an elite run defender. In this game, they turned him loose, let him take a lot of plays on the edge. And Kaylee, this guy might be famous for this. This is the guy that met Roquan a few weeks back. But he, at the top of his Twitter header, I guess it's his X page now, he says, I'm going to show him something they've never seen before.
Well, I mean, this is the first thing that we've seen from him sack-wise, so he's showing us something we haven't seen before. We've got another highlight to show you as well from Nick Abrams. His 2nd sack of the day. I actually think he shakes off more defenders here in this clip than the first one. Super impressive by Abrams.
He was in Athens on Saturday. He's going to take a visit to Michigan, Kaylee, but we can kind of safely say that one of the things he told me after the game was that visit cemented his commitment about why he's a Dawg.
2 other players that we wanted to shout out. First one is the senior linebacker, Shadarius Tootle, who had 8 tackles, 2 pass breakups, a fumble recovery, and a 6-yard rushing touchdown on the night.
Shadarius, those Tootle boys right there. Again, there's some buzz around about Dogs being worried. He was once committed to Auburn. He's visited Auburn twice. I'll tell you when we need to worry about Shadarius Tootle, and I don't think that's right now.
All right, and then we've got one more before we get to our Dawg of the month. This is the senior cornerback, Caden Harris, who had 4 carries for 50 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, also had 3 receptions for 68 yards, and a passing touchdown. Oh, and by the way, he plays defense.
Plays for the Tomcats. I love some of this. When we get deep into high school season, Kaylee, we get some cool team names. We got a Jackrabbit sighting recently as well. Wouldn't it be cool to play for the Jackrabbits? Caden Harris was also in Athens on Saturday. Loved his trip. Loves everything about the Dogs. Again, these guys are already locked in, quite content, and they really all said to a man, why can't we play today? Can't we just jump out there and play today?
All right, this next one is a big one. It is the first one of the season.
Woo!
This is the Dawg of the month.
I'm a big dog, no leash, you all part, no teeth. That's a whole lot of wins on me. That's a whole lot of wins on me.
In the month of September, our Dawg of the month had 64 carries for 575 yards, 9 rushing touchdowns, a little over 9 yards per attempt, 3 catches for 82 yards with another 2 touchdowns, 24 tackles, 1 interception, 1 blocked punt. You're never going to believe who it is. It is the punter commit in the class. This month's dog of the month is Wade Register, the 3-star punter out of Dublin. He was so good. We've got 2 individual slides to show you. We'll focus on the offensive stats here. Mentioned it, 64 carries for 575 yards, 9 touchdowns, 3 receptions, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also had 16 kickoffs, 4 touchback. We'll show you some of his rushing stats here on the screen.
Kaylee, one thing though I want to remind the audience. And first of all, you're going to be like, what you talking about, Jeff and Kaylee? You got a punter here from GIAA? Yes, we do. Because those stats, Kaylee, that 500-something yards was just for the month of September.
Yeah.
If we wanted to include August, he's almost at 800 yards right now. Folks, this is the punter doing his job. Oh, yeah, he's also a linebacker. Leads all Georgia commits in tackles right now. Leads all Georgia commits in touchdowns right now. Leads all commits in rushing yards right now. And that son of a gun from Dublin, Georgia, is a punter.
And it's not like Arch Manning high school highlights where you can visibly tell that the opponent that he's playing is just not nearly as good as him. You can see there that he's like really having to break some tackles, have high football intelligence. So those are just the rushing highlights. We've also got some receiving highlights from you for the 3-star punter, Wade Register out of Dublin, Georgia. I still can't even believe that this is our life.
Kaylee, 6'3", 220 pounds. That is your punter. Oh, yeah, by the way, he's averaging 54 yards per punt. Kaylee, he had a 53-yard punt this year with a 5-second hang. He is a preferred walk-on at Georgia, but everything with NIL and scholarships is going to be great here. This young man is a football player, and Kaylee, you made me giggle a little bit. I had to cover up my mic because I knew we were going to break into some Arch Manning talk here. Could the team that he's facing right now have played in the New Orleans Episcopal Parish League? I think so, but he's still, guys, I know you're going to say, Jeff, what about these 6'8" dogs? What about all these other guys? He's a punter.
And look at him right here. Just go head first into this guy, not afraid of embracing the head-to-head contact. All right, I told you he was so good. We had to do 2 slides for him, so we'll shift to the other side on the defense. Oh, my gosh. 24 tackles, 1 interception, 1 blocked punt, and then on the job that he's going to do for Georgia, an average of 54.3 yards on 15 punts this season. So we've got more highlights to show you from Wade Register. This one is going to be some defensive highlights. You see some of the interceptions and the forced fumble that he had on the season as well.
He's like, you see in all of his highlights, he takes this football player stuff seriously. Like when he wanted some extra business at that goal line, he wanted one more hit, and he wanted to run through a guy. You see him bringing the tomahawk when he's trying to tackle a guy. He's trying to take that ball away. Look at him right there, elevating to get a pick. Again, 6'3", 220. He's from Dublin, Georgia. He plays from Trinity Christian. Kaylee, when I was putting this together, I was surprised as anybody else. I'm like, we're actually going to give the dog of the month to a punter. No, my friends, we're going to give the dog of the month. Look at that karate chop right there.
Amazing. That might be the most impressive play I've seen on this tape, which says a lot.
Look at him force a fumble right there. I asked him, I was like, it's kind of like with Drew Miller a few years ago. I was like, man, you must love it, because if you don't score, you get to punt. And you're going to punt the bejesus out of the ball and back the team up. And then you get to go play linebacker and hit somebody. Like, he'll never have more fun playing football than he does right now.
All right, so now let's actually see what he's going to do for the University of Georgia. This is him as a punter. He is a 3-star punter, which it's really hard for special teams players to even get stars. So clearly excels at the one thing that he's going to do, but also in every aspect of the game, it seems like so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun. Like, just looking it up, and, you see that another great hang time there, another distance. Kaylee, he kicks off. There's one clip I think we have him kicking off. And you know how you're used to touchbacks where the ball maybe goes past the goalpost? I think his hits the scoreboard behind the track on one of his kickoffs on one of these kicks.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that he gets a lot of height on the ball, which is what I think that we're used to seeing from Brett Thorson, is that it just looks so good when it's coming off of his foot. So not just a pretty kick, but also gives plenty of time for the defenders to get to the other side of the field.
Yeah, his guys could get down there. And again, like I was saying earlier, I know some of them 6A dogs are going to be like, hey, man, come on, man. What about me? I got 8 touchdowns. What about – I was like, this is the guy excelling in every area of the game. He's a punter. Punting stuff looks great. linebacker, running back. He's like Mike Alstott out there running over dudes. It was fun to put this together because we want to make sure. One of the things we got to do is if there's a story out there in this class, we're going to find it. We're going to tell it to you. And on the down low, Georgia's punter commitment is putting up fantasy football numbers in high school ball.
So much deserved. The first Before the Hedges Dog of the Month of this season belongs to the 3-star punter, Wade Register. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We've got something really exciting to show you in our class breakdown. We're going to switch it up from what we normally do. Since we are very familiar with the 2026s, we've already talked a lot about them. I just want to pull up the 2026 defense at this point in time because there's one player in particular I want to ask you about, and that's the 3-star defensive lineman Corey Howard, who we knew that Alabama was like finding their way into his heart. Do you have an update on him after the last the matchup between the two?
Yeah, Kaylee, I'm not going to try to sound like maybe a smart aleck like what Grandma would tell us or Mama would say about us. Somebody played defense on Saturday for Georgia Between the Hedges, and it was Georgia's recruiting staff and its coaching staff. What I mean by that is Alabama is coming for Corey Howard, the 3-star defensive lineman out of Valdosta, who also punts. We're going to set a record for punter love on this show right now today. He told me that Georgia reinforced the commitment 100%. He got to hang around the commitments. He was really tight with a lot of those guys. And he told me that Georgia kind of solidified his recruitment right now, especially trying to hold off Alabama. It was the visit that the Dogs needed to have. I still believe he's going to go visit Alabama for the official next month. But the bar, which was already very high, got jacked up even higher.
All right, so the next thing I want to focus on is the 2026 top targets. There have not been any changes made since last week, but I just kind of want to get an update on who's the next person that we could potentially see make a move on this list or decide, you know what, I'm going to stick it out where I currently am.
Yeah, so interesting. You're going to see, Tyler Chukim, you're going to see what happens with Florida. Florida gets a firing, then maybe he opens his stuff up, which Kaylee, basically every recruit that Arkansas had is being opened up right now as well. They've all decommitted since the firing of Coach Pitt. I think it's going to be interesting. We got to cover the top name, Kaylee. He was there at Georgia, Alabama on Saturday. He actually knows Bo Hughley, Dontrell Glover as well. But the guy in published interviews, Kaylee, calls his mother an Alabama super fan.
Oh.
Yeah. Kaylee gives me one of those, maybe that might be Brandon's version of a chortle.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Kaylee's mom, when she hears that his mother is an Alabama super fan, he's obviously at Georgia, saw Alabama play well in the victory. And then obviously he's got official visits set up with a lot of schools, Missouri, Ohio State, Georgia, I believe Auburn, Alabama as well. The last official visit, Kaylee, is scheduled for Alabama. So Alabama's going to get last shot. Mom's pretty happy with that. Again, that's one. I said it earlier. I've kind of teased it a little bit. It's becoming harder and harder for Georgia to win that commitment.
And, of course, the target that he's talking about is their number one on the screen, Jared J. Dowdy. Now, since Kelsey Adams is a member of the 2027 class, we decided that every time that Georgia gets a 2027 edition, we will introduce a class breakdown for those guys. That way we can keep up with where the status is. So for the offensive side of the ball, 3 commits currently. We had talked about the 3-star receiver last week a little bit, and then also Kelsey Adams, the newest addition, who is a top 100 national player, and then they have a 3-star interior offensive lineman within that class as well. It's the 3-star Kyson Mallard.
Interesting things to report on all 3 names here. Gavin was there in Athens on Saturday. Loved the visit. He said that also cemented and solidified his commitment because, listen, folks are going to worry. He's a wide receiver out in California. He's a 3-star. He committed early. The other name, Kaylee, this is the second guy here, Kyson Mallard. He committed on Saturday. He's out of Westover in Albany. Kaylee, he's not even playing this year. He's got an ACL injury. He was in Athens on crutches. He decided, and this is what he told me, he's like, I just needed to stop playing. Come home and be a Dog. He's about 6'5". He's about 315 pounds. Georgia sees him as a tackle. He committed to play tackle. The recruiting industry right now sees him as an interior offensive lineman. And then obviously Kelsey Adams. As we said earlier in the show, I thought it was kind of funny how he's already telling his coaches at Langston Hughes he better get a screen pass, like Caden Proctor got a screen pass as well for Alabama. So obviously we knew that was going to happen. Every high school player in the country would be asking their head coaches and offensive coordinators about that.
All right, so now we'll take a look at the defensive side of the ball. Just one guy to talk about for the class of 2027. 4-star cornerback Dante Wright, also a top 100 player in the class of 2027. This is one, in my opinion, that I feel like you have to keep because there's a really good chance that somebody from the 2026 cornerback class will not end up being a part of the team. So I think it's really important that you stack a lot of cornerbacks within this class because now we see how important depth at that position is. So I'm okay with Georgia going all in on some cornerbacks for this class.
Dante is an early commitment. Dante is basically Dante Williams. Basically brought him in. He's from California, Kaylee. We know how that goes, but that's some of Coach Williams and his California ties coming to help the Dogs there. He was only one of the 4 that was not in Athens on Saturday. Kaylee, I know you've got a natural curious mind like I do. Georgia currently has the number 7 class in the country for 2027 with their 4 commits. Some schools already have 8. Some schools have 5. So crazy story, Kaylee. Right now, we'll probably never see this again, but I believe the number 4 class in the country for recruiting for 2027 with their 8 3-star commitments. Wait for it. This might be more shocking than the punter is Dog of the Week. It's Sacramento State.
Oh. Okay.
Sacramento State. So that Georgia's only got 4. They're going to have a lot more, obviously, but we're going to try to like Miss Mansell said, we're going to try, and when Georgia gets some commitments, we're going to put up that board each time they do.
Well, shout out to Sacramento State.
One little buzzword also. I would say, I don't know if this will happen every home game, but I would say put it in the back of your mind that 2027's commitments will happen at home games this year. Like, you remember how Kirby last summer kind of authored not just buzz, but positive PR when he had, I believe it was 7 or 8 days in a row when he had a commitment to the University of Georgia. We'd never seen that before. I think there's going to be so little buzz on 2026's this season. So you're going to have a lot of 2027s deciding that they want to make some noise on game days.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for today's episode of Before the Hedges. DawgNation, thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here next Wednesday at 7 o'clock.
Let's go, I'm a bulldog.